What are you looking at?
Walk for me, 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 serve, 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 walk for me, serve.
Strike a pose.
Walk for me, 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 sir, 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 walk for me, sir. I'll see you after the function.
Strike a pose, 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 pose.
All right, 347-709-0655 is the number to dial. You guys are tuned in to the hottest station on the Internet Nation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you already know how it goes down. Don't forget, if you're not logged in, log on right now to BowlSceneRadio.com. It's your boy Izzy Stars on the ones and twos. I have Fredi, Xtravaganza coming up in just a bit. We got an interesting interview tonight. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. You're now rocking with the hottest in Bowl Nation. BowlSceneRadio.com.
Walk, sir. Walk, sir. Sir. I heard you want to walk. I heard you want to serve. I heard you want to walk. I heard you want to rush. Sir. I heard you want to walk. 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 Sir, don't you hear me calling you, honey? Walk, sir. I know you hear me calling you, honey. Walk, sir. Don't you hear me calling you, honey? Sir. Sir. Sir, I know you hear me calling you, honey. After the folk song. Good evening. I'd like to introduce myself. I am the Soul Shaker, coming to you from behind the speakers. Don't try to adjust the system. I am in control. How do you like it? Do you like it hard? Don't you hear me calling you this honey? I know you hear me calling you this honey. Don't you hear me calling you this honey? Don't you hear me calling you this honey? Miss Honey. Miss Honey.
That's right, don't forget the numbers 347-709-0655. BallsingRadio.com.
Excuse me, who's the DJ? I feel some runway coming on right about now. Excuse me, whose party is this? Excuse me, the vibe is fierce. Excuse me, whose house is this? Excuse me, are you feeling fierce?
The witch doctor.
than me, better than me, better than me. None of these bitches look better than me. 1, 2, 4, 3. None of these bitches look better than me, better than me, better than me. None of these bitches look better than me. 1, 2, 4, 3. None of these bitches look better than me, better than me, better than me. None of these bitches look better than me. 1, 2, 4, 3. None of these bitches look better than me, better than me, better than me. None of these bitches look better than me. Hate, 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 hate. I don't care what bitches say. I don't even look their way, look their way, look their way. Hate, 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 hate. I don't care what bitches say. I don't even look their way, look their way, look their way. Hate, 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 hate. I don't care what bitches say. I don't even look their way, look their way, look their way. Hate, 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 hate. I don't care what bitches say. I don't even look their way, look their way, look their way. Every time I walk in the club, they hating on me 'cause they know I look good. My hair done right and my dress real tight. All eyes on me, I took the night. Every time I walk in the club, they hating on me 'cause they know I look good. My hair done right and my dress real tight. All eyes on me, I took the night. I took the night. I took the night. I took the night. All eyes on me, I took the night. 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 I took the night.
To be my second life, anything that I desire. Be one with my feminine, set my whole body on fire. Limit every renegade, taking over your empire. Show me better queen of hearts, but I'm a better queen of your fucking bar. Show me better queen of hearts, but I'm a better queen of your fucking bar. No one can do you the way that I do. Boy, I want you.
This is a Manny LaBeija, a Queen Beat, House of Ninja, House of Infinity, Starstruck Records, production. I am your host, Izzy Infinity, and I want all the girls that serve to bring it to the floor. Take your marks, get ready, and vogue.
To the left, to the right, to the left. You're a seed, get out my sight. Vogue it up, vogue it down, vogue it up. Come on, girl, you're playing around. To the beat, to the noise, to the beat. Come on, girl, you know it's not choice. To the right, to the left, to the right. Sit down, sweetie, you look out of breath.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fiercest of them all? Will I serve them at the bar? Will I walk big and tall? Who will take the fall? Who will serve them on the floor? Will I get the grand of all?
Nice camera action.
Beat it up, beat it up, beat it up, beat it, beat it up, beat it up, beat it up, beat it, beat it up, beat it up, beat it up, beat it,
Nice
beat it up, 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 beat it up,
Nice
beat it up, beat it up,
camera
beat it up, 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 beat it up
get out my sight. Poke it up, poke it down, poke it up. Come on, girl, you play around. To the beat, to the north, to the beat. Come on, girl, you know it's not choice. To the right, to the left, to the right. Sit down, sweetie, you look kind of rough.
Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Now show me what you got. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it. Let's make it hot. Hot. Now show me. 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 Show me what you got. Give me a fab runway walker. Give me a fab runway walker. Give me a fab runway walker. Let's walk. Give me a fab runway walker. Give me a fab runway walker. Give me a fab runway walker. Let's walk. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Now show me. 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 Show me what you got. Now show me. 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 Show me what you got. Let's make it hot. Give me a fat runway walker. 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 Let's walk. I'm a beat. Let's you gon' be you. I'm a beat. Let's you gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. Let's you gon' be you. Let's walk. I'm a beat me. Let's you gon' be you. I'm a beat me. Let's you gon' be you. I'm a beat me. You gon' be you. Let's walk. What? I'ma beat me. You gon' be you. 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 I'ma be me. I'ma be me. Bitch, who are you? I'ma be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. Bitch, who are you? I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'ma be what? I'ma be queen. Bitch, I'ma be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. Bitch, who are you? I'm be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. Bitch, who are you? What? I'ma beat me. You gon' be you. 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 I'ma be me. I'ma be me. Bitch, who are you? I'ma beat me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. Bitch, who are you? I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'm gon' be me. You gon' be you. I'ma be what? I'ma be TWISTER. Go like me to be a superstar. RELNESS. Look so big you think I still like breasts. BOGUEFM. You a bad bitch if you can get it your tens. FEMMINE. When I vote have the girls gagging. GRAMATIC. You're with the girls on ATC. KNOWTNY. You know you want it so you can't deny. PERFOR. MAN to the C to the E. PERFOR. MAN to the C to the E. TWISTER. Vote like you can be a superstar. RELNESS. Look so real, think I still like rap. BOGUEFM. You a bad bitch, you can get your tens. FEMMINE. When I vote have the girls gagging. GRAMATIC. You're with the girls on K2C. KNOWTNY. You know you want it so you can't deny. PERFOR. MAN to the C to the E. 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 PERFOR.
Now
already know it's your boy Easy Stars in the building. We got Fredi Xtravaganza. Come up soon, don't go nowhere. You're tuned into the hottest station on the internet nation. BallingSwingRadio.com.
Now, bitch. Now, bitch. Ely Beats.
All right. Real quick. Want to give a great big happy birthday shout out to Omar LaBeija. Happy birthday to Aquarius Infinity. Happy birthday to Kate Ninja. Happy birthday to Aviance Milan. Happy birthday to Alvernian Prestige. Also, happy birthday to Peter Baxter LaBeija. Happy birthday to Nelson Milan. Also, happy birthday to Darit B. Chanel. Happy birthday to Nick Nack Ebony, aka Nikki Black Ebony. And of course, happy birthday to DJ French Riviera. I have Fredi Xtravaganza coming in just a minute. Hold on tight. We'll be right back.
Ultra Armory, St. Clair, Mugre
All right. The ball lines are closed. All right, I want to introduce to you, I have Fredi Xtravaganza. Can you say what's up, Fredi? Are you there?
Hello, what's up?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Oh my God, excellent. Well, you know, it's been a little rough week for me, so
Okay.
I've been let me get some music on over here. Hello. All right.
Hey, well, I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, check it out. I have a very, very exclusive interview with y'all today, because we're going to talk about, you know, some of the behind-the-scenes pioneering and some of the people who have done, you know, a certain amount of, you know, good to the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Now that we're balanced out, let's start
Yes,
off
darling.
like this. For those who don't know and is new to the ballroom scene, real quick, let everybody know exactly who you are, what's your name, and where you're from.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, my birth name is
Hello. Are you there? All right. I guess we'll be right back right after these messages. All right, we are back. Sorry for the inconvenience. You there, Fredi?
Yes, I'm here.
I know that's right. All right, let's start again. For those who don't know, you know, let everybody know who you are and where you're from.
All right. Well, my birth name is Ferdinand de Jesus, and everybody knows me as Fredi. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
All right, shout out to Brooklyn.
New York.
Yes.
You know, off the J train, right there. You get off on Norwood Avenue on the J train, going towards Queens, and that's where I grew up, right there on that block, Clifton in Norwood.
I know that's right.
And so, you know, being from New York, of course, you know, when I came out, the first place that I ventured to was the Village, the Piers in New York City. That was in the early 80s. I was able to immediately make my way down Christopher Street to the Piers. And that's where I was really exposed to the ballroom world. There were a lot of ballroom children hanging out in the Village on the Piers. And, you know, we were Vogue and Kiki, and pretty much voguing was my passion because I'm a dancer. I was always a dancer, a professional dancer, studying ballet and modern dance at Alvin Ailey.
Yes.
And
amazing.
Thank you. And I met some really amazing people in the Village at that time. That was when you could hang out in the Village, like, right. And the Piers, and there was music and a lot of madness, of course. You know, we all know the stories of the Village.
Fun madness. Fun madness.
Like, you know, you get to cruise and meet people and have a good time and just really be exposed to our LGBT culture that was very flourishing at that time. Music, fashion, you know, voguing was like really booming and within the urban community in the streets, and it was a great time. And my professional career kind of like put me in schools like Alvin Ailey and Dance Theater of Harlem, where I studied, to become a professional dancer. And then I started working. And grandfather Hector Xtravaganza, he sort of took me under his wing and kind of like kept me really focused.
Yeah, shout out to grandfather Hector Xtravaganza, by the way.
Yeah, grandfather was really, really. My sisters, like Jose and Louis Xtrava, were always very loving to me and show love at Sound Factory, amongst many of the other clubs in the city at the time, where a lot of the ballroom kids were going. And it was sort of like a part of our culture that going out was a part of the culture as well.
Right. Wow. Let's go back
club
a little
hopping,
bit. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go to, because I ask everybody on the show. I love to ask everybody this on the show. I feel like it's important to ask everybody this question. How was it for you, growing up at home as a child?
Well, I mean, that's always a challenge for, a young LGBT growing up in a household that was, I wouldn't necessarily say it was conservative, but it was New York in the 80s. And unfortunately, I had a stepfather who was addicted to drugs, and things in our house were pretty rough.
Wow.
We stayed strong and loving of our mom and my brothers and sisters. And the focus of dance really was something that kind of like gave me an outlet. So I was able to really, once I got into high school, I was able to kind of venture into the city on my own. In New York, it's different. You ride the subway to go to school. So you could be, 13, traveling miles away from your house to go to school. Right. Unfortunately for me, I got accepted into a pretty prestigious school in Manhattan. So I would commute from Brooklyn into Manhattan every day. And that was really liberating for me. It gave me a lot of opportunities to be independent and to get out there and experience, our life in my own kind of way. But home was rough. My mom is a good woman. She raised us very well and loved us very much. But she tolerated a lot of nonsense from a drug addicted man who. You kind of learn as you grow up in this lifestyle that there's a lot of things in the ballroom. You also learn that a lot of what we do is a fantasy, and we can escape in that fantasy, and it's actually a lot of fun. Right. It was very liberating for me. I became a L'Amour first. I was in the house of L'Amour. Yeah, I became a L'Amour in the early 90s. And I was even in Aviance for a minute. Mother Juan Aviance snatched me up for a hot minute when I lived in... Shout out to
Mother Juan Aviance.
Yeah, Mother Juan Aviance. And
Aviance Records.
Yes, and of course, the legendary Kevin Aviance. And we were club hoppers and good friends for a long time. I lived in D.C. for 3 years in the early 90s and hit Trax DC. I was a door boy at Trax DC and at this amazing club called the Kindergarten with Mama Sister Face and a bunch of other club kids. It was the club kid era. You remember the early 90s, the club kid era.
Right. Yes, it was amazing. What clubs did you start going to? What were your first clubs?
Wow, my first clubs were actually were in New York, like in the late 80s. I was sneaking out and going to a place called Heartthrobs that had like a lot of freestyle music, and Lisa performed there, and a lot of artists from that era.
Yes, wow.
And then there was the Roxy. Stuck into the Roxy, and I got into Paradise Garage a couple of times and carried on.
Wow.
That was the late 80s, early 90s. And then I moved to Florida, and I partied a lot in Florida too, because it's easy to party when you're young in Florida. Well, in New York too, but.
Wow. So you traveled. We're going to talk about the traveling a little bit in a little bit. Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about New York. How did you get into the ball scene? How did you learn, to Vogue? And how did you get into dancing and all that?
Well, voguing was like an absolute. As soon as I saw it for the first time, which was I saw my wonderful brother, God rest his soul, Danny Xtravaganza, was on the piers with my beautiful brother, David Ian Xtravaganza, and my beautiful Butch Queen sister, Melissa Xtravaganza. And they were voguing on the pier, and I was a sweet 13 maybe. 13 years old, had fresh out of middle school, getting ready to go to high school, trying to find my way through the city. And I ran into some people that took me to the pier, and there they were, and they were carrying. It was so fierce. Oh my God.
What was it like for you the first time that you actually saw the pier? Like, what was the first thing that popped into your head?
Girl, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was a silly little child, like feeling myself. And you see those young queens, you'd be like, girl, calm down. I was getting my life, I'm sure. Wow. And I saw them voguing. They had a fabulous Jeep. And it was summertime in New York City, which is the best. Yes. Of course, during Pride, I think it was like my first Pride experience. And there they were in this Jeep voguing so fiercely to David Ian. The song was Elements of Vogue. And I was blown away. I was like, this is so beautiful. And then I just started doing it at home. Every chance I had, I was voguing and carrying on. You know, then of course that's your coming out story, because it was quite obvious to my mom and my family just by the way I was dressing, because I was expressing myself based on what I was seeing, which was 80s fashion. Mama, it was over. Like, you know, I started putting on eyeliner, girl. Yes. Like, they were like, are you wearing eyeliner? I was like, yes, bitch, I'm wearing eyeliner.
The tweezing eyebrows, foundation.
Oh my God, tweezing my eyebrows. Like, I was a butch queen. I wanted to be soft. I wanted to be pretty. I was not trying to be hard or butch or tough like a boy. Not at all. I definitely wanted to express with my clothing, my hair. You know, it was a very fashion statement going on with the look.
Touch with your fashion side. Yes, that's hot.
I was in touch with the fashion extravaganza realness. So then, of course, you know, the ballroom scene was attractive. And so I think I went to my first ball in 1991. It was like at the Mark Ballroom. I was hanging out with a bunch of queens. They were like, there's a ball. And I was like, what? Like, Paris is Burning? Because I had already seen Paris is Burning. There was no way I could have not seen Paris is Burning and been a top.
How were you introduced to Paris is Burning?
I was introduced to Paris is Burning by a group of butch queens that I met in the village, and they were like, you need to see Paris is Burning. And I was like, okay, let's go see Paris is Burning. Yeah. The butch queens took me. I don't even remember who they were, but they took me to see Paris is Burning, and I gagged. And then I remember taking one of my teachers from school. I was like, you have to see this movie. And he loved it. And he was definitely gay. And he loved it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And Paris is Burning, a life-changing film for anybody that watches it. Because, you know, we memorize the lingo in that movie. It's a cult classic. It's like a part of our culture. So yeah, then I went to the Mark Ballroom. Yeah, because I started learning about the balls from the film, and I was like, wow, I want to go to one. So they took me to one, and I was like, wow. And then any chance I had to go again, I would go. But I wasn't in a house yet, and it wasn't until after I got back from D.C. that I was in Aviance for a little while, and then I got introduced to the House of L'Amour, which, you know, a lot of them, after the mother of the house passed away, it was kind of over.
Wow.
Many of us moved on with years in college and a lot of important things in our life. You know, you lose somebody and you're just kind of like, this isn't the same anymore. So a lot of the L'Amours became extravaganzas, actually, because, you know, we're sickening like that. Hello.
You're breaking up a little bit.
No. Is it better now?
It's getting better.
Okay.
You just gotta find the right spots.
Yeah, so the extravaganzas took on many of the former L'Amours, and, you know, how with some wonderful, I've known them for so long. They're such good friends, and they are like family. That's a big part of the house. And Hector adopted me into the House of Extravaganza as his child. I had several balls in Florida and New York, and, you know, gave my father the trophies in tradition, and he gave me a room to rent. Hello.
Word.
And I lived with him in Brooklyn. I lived with Hector in Brooklyn for a while I was dancing professionally with Donald Byrd, the group. Had me on the road all the time.
Yes. How was that?
And while I was on the road, it was wonderful. That experience.
How did you get into dance? Was it before?
I got my first scholarship voguing. I met some dancers while I was voguing on the pier, and they told me that I should go to this place called the Nanette Bearden's Contemporary Dance Theater. One of those people was Victoria Lace, a famous New York star, a drag queen that a lot of people know. But I know Victoria Lace as Nathan, and Nathan invited me to dance class, and I got a scholarship to that school. And then I went on to Alvin Ailey, and that's where I met Jose Xtravaganza for the first time at the Ailey School. And he was like, "Oh, I'm a thing, and you can come to Sound Factory." And I went to Sound Factory and started hanging out with a lot of the Ganza children.
Work. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of it is social, you know, so you're going out together, you're going to the clubs together. At the time, there was a club called Café con Leche.
Work. Shout out to
That
Café
was
con Leche. Remember that?
Yeah, Café con Leche, that was an amazing, amazing experience and time. Of course, the Limelight, places like Webster Hall, you know, where we socialized with the likes of, you know, Michael Alec and the infamous guest list that had Angel on it, and you know, now the film, of course, Party Monster, and the whole legacy of the madness of that experience. You know, and reality is that I was there, I was on those guest lists, I was at those parties. I'm a part of that culture.
The club and culture.
Yeah, it was because of the club kid culture also identifies with the ballroom culture. They're very supportive of our culture. They actually identify extremely with our culture. A lot of club kids actually would come to balls and participate.
Word, that's amazing.
Yeah, many balls. My sister Anthony Xtravaganza and Caesar. Caesar, you know, is a famous Voguer. Caesar Valentine, everybody knows him as Caesar Valentine. I just know him as Caesar. He was L'Amour, Ninja, Caesar's Major, and he and Anthony threw a ball called the Pink Ink Ball, and that ball had a lot of club kids. I think it had a club category, and I remember several balls in New York having a category that was very club kid oriented.
Work. Wow.
Yeah, a big part of the culture. The club culture, the nightlife culture, you know, hanging out with models, a lot of models parties. I remember that being something that seemed to be very strong. Extravaganza was like the industry. There was a lot of connection to industry, especially, of course, you know, after Madonna and the Strike a Pose.
Yes.
And the whole
Blonde
idea
Ambition.
of Vogue as a song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blonde Ambition experience, you know, that was a big deal in New York City.
Right.
Dancers, we were even trying to get those jobs. I remember going to the audition and making it to the last cut, but then finally not getting the job because Madonna went to Sound Factory and she picked the dancers pretty much out of Sound Factory.
Wow, that's how she was. She was always all over that Sound Factory. That's what I heard.
Oh, Madonna was very big with Junior Vasquez and the Sound Factory. And then, you know, as soon as she met Jose and Louis and whole Vogue album and everything was coming out, it was like I guess being at like perfect timing of the way everything happened. And then even for me later on, like when they were on tour, I remember they came back to the city and then there was another Madonna audition, and because I didn't get cast in the first audition, I got like the first call. So that first call came to me and it was management, and they were looking for dancers for some parties that they were having that were going to be Blonde Ambition promotion, but they, you know, the dancers were already booked and working and rehearsing for the tour. There was so much going on. I was so lucky to even get booked for that job, and at the time it was voguing. A lot of us were like, wow, we're getting booked to Vogue. And you know what a lot of the queens or the voguing kids are doing now, you know, a lot of us were doing then. We were really lucky to get invited to go to Tokyo in Germany just to Vogue.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a time where it wasn't as popular or as common. So it was very unique for you to get a phone call and somebody, here you are studying to be a professional modern dancer, but somebody's getting ready to fly you to Frankfurt, Germany to Vogue for 3 days and make some legendary coins. Yes. And you're like, wow. And then, you know, then there were no workshops. Nobody was teaching Vogue in those days, but Willie Ninja was teaching Vogue. You know, Caesar Valentine has always been teaching Vogue. But right now, it just seems to be very popular. It's very trendy. The whole idea of, you know, learning how to vogue, especially in what's considered to be the street styles dance world, where there's like b-boy, whacking, voguing, and all different streets. You know, voguing is definitely getting a lot of the attention that many of us, we loved it so much. We were doing it all day, every day. I remember friends and I just like, God, remember voguing like all night long? You'd just be like voguing for hours.
Wow, yes.
You're like, yeah, it was severe. It was a time, you know, an era of like it being like such an art form. And of course, I go out now and you don't even really see much. And you think to yourself, oh, it's so popular right now. Becoming really popular in the dance world. You know, it's really popular in the ballroom world for sure. Professional dance world, which is, you know, the world that I live in 9 days out of the week. It's pretty popular.
Yes, it is. I see it everywhere, all over social media. It's all over the place. You know, I'm seeing it in magazines and articles, blogs, everything.
Yes, it is definitely blown up. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's overseas. You know. Well, let me ask. You also
come on, give me some questions.
You also was part of the ballroom scene in New Jersey, right?
Not really. I mean, I've gone to balls in Jersey. You know, when you're a New Yorker, you're kind of like bouncing around New Jersey, Philly, D.C. So I lived in Philly and D.C. for a while. I fell up in some of the Philly ebony balls back in the day. I remember in D.C. going to a couple of ebony balls out there too. I always felt like the House of Ebony was a really strong house, and their balls for me were like cute, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, right, I'm gonna fall up in these balls, and I would go even if it was just to spectate or to take friends and introduce them to the ballroom world. A lot of times it was for that, and I mean sometimes I would fall up in a category if I was feeling it in the moment, but it's not like I was going to a ball chasing after trophies or nothing like that.
Okay, work. Now, yeah, how was the ballroom scene back then compared to today? How different has it become?
Wow. I mean, for me, it's almost like it's such an underground culture. It's like, I couldn't imagine it like really staying the same for too long. I think that it still has a lot of the same elements, no shade, no tea. It still has a very strong underground, you know, energy about it. So if you're not really like, you know, if you haven't been through the projects or you haven't been to the hood, like the ballroom might come across as being like, whoa, to you. Right. Like some of the places that our community has lived in.
It's very urban.
Which, you know, many of us were not born with a silver spoon in our mouth. And, you know, Paris is burning. They say it right there, you know, shake the dice and steal the rice. So, you know, as a community that understands the community that is underprivileged and underserved. So being in the ballroom for me definitely was about the air of that fantasy. You know, many times if you really watch Paris is Burning, you see a lot of the truth revealed in Paris is Burning. It's really about a fantasy. It's about us emulating something that we aspire to. Of course, many of us are the exact thing that we're trying to be. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people in the ballroom that I've been like, wow, this person is so successful and wealthy that they would be looking at our culture and admiring it. That's very honorable to me that, you know, I've heard that like, friggin' like very famous like Janet Jackson and Lady Gaga have been to balls. I think that that's for a reason. It's because the ballroom has evolved so much. And I think that it's evolving in a good way because I'm sorry, why would people be so fascinated with our culture if it wasn't good? They're fascinated. They love it. I mean, look at J-Lo's album now with the 10s across the board. And, you know, I think that it's our time as a community and we should continue to celebrate and continue to prosper and throw balls and you know, get more kids interested and get more kids involved. I think that it's grown and it's changed, and I'm glad that it's changed. I'm glad that it's evolving, and I think that there's more opportunity. I think that if people seize more opportunity, it's gonna grow, because I've seen what's happened here in Central Florida. Remember, I came to Florida and there was nobody throwing up X's for the House of Xtravaganza.
Let's talk about, you know, when you first came to Florida and how, you know, you were one of the people to, you know, influence Florida to walk poses and more poses. And
oh my God, poses. Yeah.
Let's talk about, you know, how you ended up coming to Florida and your statement here and how you made your way in Florida.
Well, remember I came here in the early 80s. Family, you know, we were what I call transplant, New York transplants, 80s, 87 to be exact, and we Florida. This was like, it was like nothing like what it is now. It was geriatrics, it was old people, it was nothing like what it is now. And so I left after being here for a little while and sort of feeling out Miami and Fort Lauderdale and stuff, where my family has stayed in that Broward County area. And I went back to New York and I continued to dance and learn about, you know, being out and being myself and being into this house / club / artistic dance world scene. And I originally, from being involved with the House of L'Amour, was already sort of like introduced to the ballroom world and the club world. So coming back to Florida to visit my family regularly, because hello, you go where your mom is, where your family is. So I kept returning, and whenever I would return, I would go out and I would hang out with my sisters, Angel Camacho Infinity, who was here in Florida, laying it down in Miami. And my sister Jada Icon Infinity, yes, who of course we all know is, you know, was once my brother. Hello. And we were children living here in Florida, going in and out of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. No, at that time Jada was in Xtravaganza and was a Butch Queen icon Xtravaganza. Sure. And me, Fredi Xtravaganza, just the two of us hanging out with Infinities and Eccentricas at the time, and Lords, who were really the children who was starting the ballroom scene. There was none of that going on down here. We were the ones voguing and carrying on. And we met other children that had come to visit, like from New York, you know, because Florida's a vacation state. So people come here on vacation. They come to Miami, they come to South Beach, and we would be out. Yeah. Right. And we were the regulars. So, you know, of course, another Butch Queen comes in, they're like, oh, who's this queen? And we were like, no, girl, who are you? Because, you know, we live here, mama. And we battle, you know, come for children come for us, the whole tea, the ballroom, the way it is. You know, it is a mini gang kind of situation. You're trying to mark your territory and trying to be like, oh, no, I'm here, you know. And I mean, it's fun. It's all in good fun, I feel. You know, there was never any violence or any shade like that in my experience. There was never anything on that level of negativity. Right. There was a lot of kikiing, a lot of scandal, a lot of beach life, you know, that's very different than the New York
and Florida,
life here.
Florida's very Latino, no?
Florida's very Latino, honey. Very, very Latino.
Yeah, I know when I came to the ballroom scene here in Florida, it was a very Latino community. I was surprised to see it was very different from what I was used to up in New York. Or Philadelphia, because I spent time in both states before, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. New York definitely an Afrocentric twist to it, more, you know, blacks and African Americans. Right. And, you know, for me, that was not a problem because I hate African American guys. I'm Puerto Rican, butter pecan, chocolate, brown. And so and you know, former Ebonies and some of those children, because that's what I'm into. I'm into, you know. And so coming here to Florida, I always thought to myself, wow, I'm surprised that Americans are interested in the ballroom vibe, the whole ballroom swag. Right. But I feel that over time that changed, because as they started moving down here, more people transplanting from New York, Philly, DC, of course they're going to be intrigued and they're going to want to continue the legacy of their house. Right. Yes. So I felt that, you know, oh, okay, well, you know, it's changing, it's evolving. Right. But I would never disregard the legacy of somebody like an Angel Camacho Infinity, you know, who was really one of the first people to even, I think, throw a ball. Like, nobody was doing that. Like, kids didn't even know how to walk a ball. They didn't even know what that was. Like, I remember many times we'd be... What
about JoJo Infinity Ebony?
Yes, JoJo, most definitely. Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. JoJo, a lot of I remember the Eccentricas being a prominent house, but remember, I wasn't living here. I was just visiting on occasion. So literally for me, it would be like, I'd be on tour, and then I would get back off tour and get dropped off in the airport, and I would be like, I'm going to fly into Miami and see my mom, and then jump in the car with my sister and go out and carry and kiki with everybody, and finally get to hang out with Power Infinity back in the day. When we were and we partied with Madonna at Club Liquid on South Beach. Like, it was severe. It was like a time that was very much the extension of that New York club life, but a lot of those New York gays were they were sort of snowbirding, you know, like in the wintertime, everybody would come to Miami and get legendary apartments and live here in Florida, and then even drive up to Orlando, Tampa. Like, I got to come up and drive north, which now I live in Lakeland, which is Tampa, Orlando, Central Florida. Wow. But back in those days, this was not even what it is now. Like Tampa, Ybor City. I mean, you've got, you know, the House of Infinity is turning it out in Ybor City for sure. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of that has come with the fact that Power has taken on, you know, really introducing the ballroom culture to Tampa. And fortunately for me, I was invited to even be a part of that, you know, because I was doing mini balls in Lakeland and inviting kids from Orlando and Tampa to come to a little bar here in Lakeland for mini ball kiki functions. And I was giving out trophies and acknowledging the kids from, I think the House of Ninja came, some of the kids from Ninja, and 007 came. They were great. They were really, really great kids. And that was really the beginning of me trying to introduce more of the ballroom community to the Central Florida area. And then Power and I started vibing, and then it just kind of went on to the Unity Ball. I was invited to be involved in that ball. That Angel called me out for poses category. I gagged. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, girl, you better bring it. She was like, yeah. Mama, let's do this. And got my tens and snatched the trophy. Work. And that was really wonderful, because I decided to come and be involved in the community. Personally, is a wonderful community. I think that there's so much for our community to continue to gain and grow the ballroom world. And, you know, the more from outside of the ballroom community are going to get involved, the better, because it only draws it to raise awareness, you know. I mean, the sex is a huge part of that awareness. And, you know, there's so much, what is that called? I guess scandal associated with, you know, the GMHC and the House of Latex or whatever. But all around, I think it's wonderful. I think the more attention we get to it, you and this amazing radio station, I mean, come on. Yeah, it doesn't get any better. You know, this is great. Everything that the community is doing, I'm so proud. You know, now I offer Vogue workshops at my new dance center here in Lakeland, Florida, the Ultimate Dance Center.
That is correct. Yes,
right?
which I definitely came out to support. And I came and I was amazed. I love it.
And just kind of exploring.
The greatest, funnest places to go in Central Florida and get your dance on. I definitely am enjoying that we have, you know, a dance center, an ultimate dance center at that. Why don't you let us know about that? Give us some more information.
I'm so glad that you had me on the show, because I was really feeling that, you know, so much of what I'm doing is really so much for the community. And we're such an equal place. You know, we are definitely open to all types of people dancing. You know, we don't care. We just want people that want to dance to come and dance for us, whether they're, you know, GLBT, straight, whatever. It doesn't matter to us. It's about dance. Yeah. And if you were in a bigger city like New York or LA or Atlanta, you can walk into a dance studio and take a dance class and have a great experience. And it's not about anything but dance. You know, it's not about you being the ballerina that's perfect, or the perfect jazz dancer, or any of that. It's about somebody who's interested in dance. And I felt like we needed that here. We needed more of that in Central Florida. And of course, with so much growing in terms of, you know, Central Florida community, this is becoming one of the top places that people are moving to. There's a lot happening here. And I think that that's a big part of why our ballroom community is growing here in Central Florida. In the Tampa, Orlando area, even in St. Pete, I hear that they're having balls.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's everywhere. I mean, you know, I've thrown a couple of mini balls out here myself and in St. Petersburg, you know, and so I have, you know, a lot of houses are definitely spreading the ballroom community out.
Awesome.
Florida, and we are definitely turning up the talent up here in Central Florida. Yes, we are. Yes. One of the things I absolutely loved about your dance school is there were so many people of different ages there. Like, I really was gagging. Like, there was all kinds of
people there, and they were all different ages, and everyone was just like loving the culture and the dance thing. Like
yeah, we have so many different programs. You know, we've been really, really lucky to have a beautiful facility, and we're able to offer programs to people of all ages. And not only that, but we also offer our space to anybody that wants to use it for any particular type of project. So like, you know, we have artists that are like, oh, I'm working on this showcase. Can you let me rent the space? Absolutely. We have enough space that we can rent it out to people who are interested in doing whatever. Quinceañera, if you're doing a wedding dance, and whatever you need, we're able to offer you that. And so every first Saturday of the month, I also do a Vogue workshop, Vogue and Runway. So, you know, we have kids that are interested in just learning how to do fashion and do runway. And then they also get to experience a little bit of voguing. And that class, you know, that meets every first Saturday of the month and has a variety of ages in there. I have grown women that are trying to get their swag on, you know, their little bit of swag. And I'm like, okay, girl, come on in here and I'm going to teach you how to do, you know, rip the runway. And then if you want to strike a pose, there's nothing to it, mama. So come on. Yeah, because people are interested. You know, we'd be fools to not realize that they are. If you go online and you type in Vogue Germany, Vogue Sweden, you see all kinds of people that are learning this beautiful art form and are really interested and really take it seriously, you know. And I think that that's the beauty of how this is growing and expanding, is that people are really taking it seriously and giving it a lot of respect. And, you know, I think that we could all afford to take a lesson from that, because a lot of times we don't realize how valuable something is until somebody else puts a price tag on it. And that's one thing that I learned by traveling all over the world and being around Xtravaganzas, my sisters in my house, that have taught me, you know, like, Miss Thing, you're talented, you're fierce. Like, don't undersell yourself or second guess yourself. Right. And if there's anything that I can say about my house, is that there is that element in there. There's an element of really pushing each other and challenging each other to keep it together and stay on top of your game and go ahead and push yourself for success. And I know that that's what I got from my gay father, Hector. He's always given me that. She'll read me and be like, girl, like, get it together. You know, and I'm like, oh, okay, right. I got a red, so I need to get it together. Yes, because look at Hector. Hector's a major success. He's such a role model, and, you know, yeah, none of us are perfect, honey. We all have skeletons in our closet. However, you know, that when it comes down to it, you got to think about the impact that people are having within the community. Like my sister Luna Lewis. Yes. You know, like so many of my sisters who have done amazing things with their career out, you know, from the artist Alvaro to, you know, people that have been involved in fashion for, you know, Omar, and so many children that I'm like, wow, they make me gag sometimes at how focused they are on their profession. And I will have to say that, you know, the House of Xtravaganza definitely pushed that tea on me, honey. They were like, no, we're about professional, and we're about being a house that is industry professional. Yeah. So let's all stay focused on that. But like I said, we all have our scandals. However, one thing that I've learned from the ballroom community is that, you know, the ballroom is something that people are passionate about, and I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Even though, like you said, it's changed. Yeah, some things have to change in order for us to really acknowledge that some of the change, even though you might not think it's for the better, it really is, because it's inspiring, you know, somebody to do a death drop with Lady Gaga while she's impersonating David Bowie. Okay. On the Grammys. Yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Hello, like it's already so embedded in American culture that, you know, they some acting jobs, you know, you go to the acting job. This is a kiki story. Okay. I was reading for film, and the guy in the film was like, yeah, but we want you to sound like more like, you know, we want you to sound more like real, like, you know, I hate to say it, but like real queenie. And I was like, real queenie? Like, what do you mean? Like, you want me to sound like a drag queen? Like, what are you talking about? And they were like, you know, like, oh my God, like that queen from Paris is Burning. And I was like, the queen, like who? Like Dorian Corey? And they were like, no, the one that was talking about the orangutan. And I was like, oh my God, like Venus Xtravaganza? You want me to be like her? Like, you want to hear like that talk about reading? And they were like, yes! Oh my God, that's perfect! And I was like, oh my God, y'all are a trip. Like, really? Wow. And that was what they wanted. They wanted that element. And I'm like, you know what? Had movies like Paris is Burning, had all of the things come out that have not come out, people would not know that. I mean, come on, look at one of the most famous movies in our community, right? Tu Wong Fu. And look at Miss John Leguizamo and her madness.
Okay.
Okay? Miss John Leguizamo. Miss Chi-Chi is like a butch queen from the Christopher Street Piers in the 90s. I gag every time. I'd be like, oh, Lord. She must have studied somebody and went and sat on the pier and been like, I'm going to be like her. Because that is a key film. It's just too real for the deal. I would gag every time. I'm like, she's too much. And any gay Latin queen that I know is kicking at her too. And like, oh my Lord. You know, because the three of them have that stereotype, right? I mean, if you look at Tu Wong Fu, you're seeing the stereotype of, you know, the Latin queen, the black queen, and the white queen. But the beautiful thing about the film is that they're all together and they're all the same. You know, and, you know, we're all the same, and the beauty of it is that. And when I go to New York and I go to the Latex Ball, because that really has been one of the main balls that I support, is I'm usually in New York during that time, so I go, and I just think it's beautiful. I just think it's so beautiful. There's so many different people there, like people that you would never imagine. Right. Have you been? You have to go.
Yes.
You have to go. It's so beautiful. So I encourage everybody in the ballroom community to have very diverse balls, to invite so many different types of people, because it's just so beautiful to see them and how interested they are and how excited they become about it. And of course, there's some parts of it that they're like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, and you think to yourself, the fact that you're here is great, though. That you want to be involved. You want to be engaged in this. I think it's fantastic.
Yes, definitely. Wow.
You know, and to be honest, you know, in Miami, that was a scene that at the time of the 90s when, you know, when Power and Angel and JoJo and everybody was carrying on, we were around, you know, very diverse people from all over the world, because, you know, Miami is a melting pot. So you know, and one side of you have people from Germany and Switzerland, and on the other side you have people from, you know, Cuba and Brazil. Right. So it's a very diverse environment. Right. A lot of beautiful trans models. Before it was even popular, you'd think to yourself, oh my God, these girls are gorgeous. And, you know, many of them were interested in knowing more about the ballroom culture. And they were right there in Miami. And, you know, you talk about beautiful, beautiful queens like, you know, Alexa, who was in Infinity, now is Xtravaganza. You know, you talk about so many eccentricas that were absolutely gorgeous, stunning, you know, transgender model types. And to me, they were models because I was like, hello, they're hanging out with models looking just as good as any of them. Okay. And that would be the same for any, you know, female to male transgenders that were in Miami that were very, very stunning. You think to yourself, wow, that used to be a female and that's a dude. Like, they look incredible because Miami's so body conscious. Right, you know, so everybody's very body conscious.
Everyone's working out and running.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Keeping up with their health and their body.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So the body category was a big deal. You know what I mean? There were a lot of people walking the body category. We got Sean Xtravaganza, who's a legendary face and body, you know, in South Florida and throughout Florida and New York. You know, there were so many children that were born in that environment. And I'll say, you know, Fredi Xtravaganza also, because there was the poses category was created. I remember being called out for that and being like, wow, this is crazy. But it was a really, really fun time because that was the development of the ballroom community in the South Florida community. And I remember seeing so many kids from New York coming down to visit and to participate. And I thought, wow, this is going to give us some credibility in the ballroom world because you want to be acknowledged. You're doing it because you want to be a part of a worldwide thing, nationwide. Right. You know, you want to be recognized. You want to be able to travel to New York City. And fortunately for me, all the extravaganzas in New York, we're not a chapter house. You know, so it was never like I was going to be able to have extravaganza sisters and family in Florida unless they transplanted here from other places. Like now, you know, we had Abraham Extravaganza was in St. Pete, and now I have Philip Mink Extravaganza nearby here in Orlando with Carmen Extrava. and I don't know of many other extravaganzas that are in the area, because it's very, very, the house is very strict. The house is very strict on rules of, we're not adding people to the house that don't go through the mother and the father. We're not doing any chapters. There's none of that. It's a very elite type group of people. And yes, there are new extravaganzas, and I know some of them, but realistically, I'm most loyal to some of the older, more iconic legends in my house, like Carl Extravaganza, Jose and Luis Extravaganza, my father, Hector Extravaganza. There's a Hector Extravaganza out in LA, that we contact each other back and forth on Facebook. And most of the time when I'm in New York, if I'm lucky, we get together and have dinner and spend some time together. And it's just family time. This is, sitting around, catching up, supporting each other on future plans, and reading each other for not showing up at a function. Usually the way house sisters are with you. They'll be like, girl, you missed the meeting, you haven't been to a function, get it together. And you're like, oh, okay, girl, I know, I gotta get together. And it's family. It's the way it works. Right. That's why most of us sign up to this. We want to be a part of that. Yes. I think that's the nature. It's our version of some kind of sport or group. We want to be involved. We want to be in the house. Shit, I know straight people that want to be in the house.
I know that's right.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about Consuela L'Amour.
Ay, Consuela, my God. What a beautiful spirit. What a wonderful person to have impacted my life so fantastically. Yeah. So Consuela was very close to my father, Hector Extravaganza, which is why we were all so close and are. And Consuela was the mother of the House of L'Amour. And then after leaving the House of L'Amour, became an extravaganza until, unfortunately, we lost her in the late 90s. There's a film out online, if you want to look at it on YouTube. It's called Mirror Mirror, and it's featuring Consuela. I think the director's name is Bailey Walsh. I think he was from Holland or Germany. He's an amazing director. Right. And he did a film about Consuela that I think I have a cameo in that film. There's a moment that I'm sitting on her bed, feeling myself in a Versace blouse, showing her love on a holiday dinner, because she made holiday dinners. That was her big thing. Yeah. She lived to make, some collard greens and some pork chops, and you would get your life hanging out with Mother Consuela. But Mother Consuela was severe. She was a scandal. She was a very well-known transgender performer, entertainer in New York City. She often performed at a local Times Square spot called Sally's Hideaway. And there are lots of stories online about Sally's Hideaway. Sally's Hideaway was a well-known transgender prostitute bar where many queens hung out to, pull tricks and find clients. And of course, many of us younger queens that were involved in the New York City life and world, those were some of our sisters and our mothers. Angie Extravaganza was one who was often at Sally's Hideaway performing. There was a long list of fabulous performers at Sally's. My beautiful mother that I know as my mother of the House of Extravaganza is Carmen Extravaganza, and she was a well-known entertainer at Sally's Hideaway. It was the place that you would go, there was a place in New York called La Escuelita, which is still there now. But back in the day, La Escuelita was the show bar of the beauties. It was where people went to see legendary drag performers, and of course not just drag, but what I consider to be a beautiful transgender, where you would just be blown away and wouldn't even believe that it was a man. You'd be like, what? And of course, there were legendary extravaganzas and continentals at the time, because there was the House of Continental. And Cesar Valentino was a continental. So was Carmen. Carmen was a continental. I believe she may have been the mother of the House of Continental. But that's where a lot of beauties would hang and would perform. The likes of Octavia St. Laurent, the likes of Tracy Africa, the likes of, beauties like Boom Boom Raquel, Stephanie Milan, Katiria Continental, Christina Piaget. We're talking about bombshell beauties that made people gag and be like, there's no way that could be a dude. But, the beauty of transgender life is that, you know, they're not. There's something else. They're that amazing spirit. And I say that because, you know, my sister's transgender, and we grew up in that environment, and that was a world that was very, very glamorous and very fabulous. But once you became a part of the culture, you also learned about a very dark underside to that beauty and that glamour. And I think that Consuela taught me that the best.
Wow.
I think that Consuela was a true mother. She taught me that the best. And she was also, like Hector, she always encouraged me to stay focused on my dancing. And she would read me if she thought I was going to too many balls, actually. She'd be like, Miss Thing, you're getting a little caught up, and I'm going to need you to shift your focus. And Consuela was, you know, she was black, honey, from California. She was old school, and she would read you and even snatch you by your collar and be like, Miss Thing, don't try me because you'll get knocked. And you would act and be like, ooh, she's gonna knock me, mama.
Bam,
but you know,
down.
yeah, Consuela was legendary. I remember one time she these queens they had mopped. You know, they have boosted. Remember mopping and boosting? I don't know if the queens still call it mopping and boosting, but mopping and boosting is mopping and boosting.
Mopping, boosting, and crafting.
Hello, mopping, boosting, and crafting. So these queens came around, honey, and they had some fashions that they had mopped and they had boosted. And I told Consuela, I was like, girl, like, this is cute. This is like a Moschino top, like some Versace pants. And she was like, well, you know what? You can buy it as long as you didn't boost it. And I was like, oh, okay, I feel better now. So she made me feel better that I had bought some boosted drag and felt over wearing the labels.
Yes.
But I didn't boost it. I bought it. I bought it very low cost, but I didn't boost it. I just bought it from the booster.
That's right.
Shade of the day. But you know, she taught me well. She was like, you're not gonna be that queen to be out carrying like that, but you know, if you got the coins to buy that, it's cute. You better get it, girl, because you're gonna need it to wear it to the function. I was like, hello.
That's right.
So she was my mother for a reason. She taught us well. But, you know, she also will put us to work. Like when there was a function, we had to carry drag. We had to, oh my Lord, it was like a job. Like I remember being like, okay, I feel like I have a job. Like I'm working to get ready for the ball, because she was serious. She was not playing.
Okay. And that's how
she
you
was
have to
very
be,
serious.
You know what I mean? Especially
and you have
nowadays.
to be. Yeah, she taught us about competition and doing it from a very healthy competitive aspect, you know. And she enjoyed the culture coming from California, you know, to step into that culture and that world. She loved it. She was like, this is fabulous. What are you talking about? And she was on TV, like she was on like TV talk shows and stuff, like back with Sally Jesse Raphael, and like, you know, back in the day, Phil Donahue, like these crazy talk shows that were interested in transgender. And that was very enlightening for me and my sister to learn so much about something that my sister had been struggling with throughout her childhood. And, you know, it was very eye-opening for us to be involved with someone that was very honest and very transparent about the difficulties that she was experiencing as someone who was transgender. And you can see all of that in the film if you watch the film Mirror Mirror about Consuela Cosmetic. God bless her. Yeah. Yeah. I think Hector has her ashes. Hector has Consuela's ashes. He's the one that ended up, you know, he was there for her in the last days, girl. He was definitely a beautiful friend. And you'll see a lot of him in the film as well. You'll see a lot of him in the film as well. My goal is to bring Hector Xtravaganza to Lakeland for Polk County Gay Pride on June 12th. To do like, I'm hoping that I can show Paris is Burning and then have him do like a Q&A or something like that. Right. Like that's my goal and my hope, to be able to accomplish that. So I'm putting it out into the universe.
I know that's right.
Hello, girl.
Yes.
That's the only way stuff happens. You got to put it out there.
Let's talk a little bit about the ABC ball.
Ooh.
Yes.
The ABC ball. My God.
You gagged.
Ooh, you better call out those old balls, those old events. Yeah, I mean, you know, that was like I said, that was an exciting time. And at the time, you know, you go with all your friends, you represent as a house, right? What was that year of the ABC ball? That was the 90s, right?
Yes.
Oh my Lord. That was like, I think I was like, at the time, I was fascinated with like I was having a blonde's ambition. I think I remember I had blonde hair. I think I had a nose ring, and I wore hoop earrings with like Doc Martens or something. Right.
It was.
Oh my
lord! It was 1993, the ABC ball, darling.
Oh my lord! I was working on Broadway in a store called Canal Jeans in New York City. Ooh. And I was hanging out. Yeah, what a scandal, the 90s. And there was a place called Better Days that was a bar that I used to go to. And the Two Potato, which is now a restaurant. Ooh. But it used to be right there on Christopher Street. And remember Badlands? There was a cruise bar called the Badlands. Badlands and Keller's.
Now.
Hello, none of that is there anymore. Gone. That was when we were terrorizing.
It's been chopped from the category list.
Yeah, the chop from the category, girl. And we had, nowadays, like everybody has cell phones. Back then we didn't have no cell phone, girl. You had a pager. You used your, you had the payphone. You had the payphone.
If you had a camcorder or some type of VHS, and you was willing to walk around with that big ass briefcase,
you would walk around with your big giant box on your shoulder to get some queen carrying on.
One to get those videos, but shout out to those queens, because you know what, those videos are very important for the art of Ballroom community culture. So if you guys are out there tuning in, by the way, if you have legendary episodes and you think it's a good thing that you're trying to preserve, at least post them online and then keep them. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
please God, yes,
because
please post them.
The culture grows.
Oh my God,
you share it.
Yes, because if it's documented, then it's historical. And if it's historical, then it's worth somebody seeing it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, they're always going to...
the credits and the public.
Hello.
Make sure that you are the ones who brought that piece of information to the community, and you will get
Yes, absolutely. And, one of the best things that comes of that now is with the era of YouTube and social media. Like, so many younger people from our community get to see it, and they get to feel recognized. They get to feel like, hello, we're talking about an era when I did not see any gay people on TV in any positive light. There was no, Modern Family in the 80s and the 90s. I mean, come on. We were lucky to be able. That's why some of us were obsessed with going out and hanging out, because it was the only time we could be around somebody like us.
Right.
I mean, come on. Now, I was a part of an era of the Harvey Milk School and the Hedrick Martin Institute, which is a place in New York City where, we would go just to have kiki parties and dress in drag and be ourselves, because you couldn't be that in your regular school that you were going to. Right. That was nobody was going to celebrate you with throwing on a gilda and putting on some lipstick and a lash. Darling, they would try to beat you senseless. You would have to battle all the trade in your school and some girls. You'd be gagging. Wow. And people would come for you just because you wore eyeliner. Because trust me, I had many a battle because I wore eyeliner. It was not a Vogue battle, honey. It was a twirl.
Okay. It was very different back in the days compared to now, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, nowadays you see, I remember there was a time even when we hung out with young gays that we would be like, oh my God, like to come out so young, you're like 12 and you're 11. And, and I'm like, girl, I came out when I was 13. Like I was already ready to, go out and meet other gays and make friends and even tell my mother I'm gay. My mother was like, you don't even know what that is. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, I am gay. I can identify. And she read me. She was like, what are you talking about? This is a phase. You don't even know what you're talking about. And I was like, yes, I do, girl. Like, I am ready to identify, honey. And Ms. RuPaul was already screaming, you better work, honey. So, I was screaming, you better work también.
Yeah.
Hello, mama. I was letting everybody know. I was letting everybody know, honey, that I was ready. I was like, Dindada. I was carrying on, honey. The boys on the block would be like, Miss Fredi. And my mother would be like, did they just call you Miss Fredi? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, my tea is so spilled. But whatever, honey. I was the one voguing on the block, letting everybody know and be like, don't disrespect and don't come for me, because that was another thing, New York City. It's like, you got to stand up for yourself. You're not going to be the gay that's getting beat up on. You're not going to be the gay that, No, never that, darling. Right. Never that. That's why I identified with Butch Queen, because that's what I am. I'm a Butch Queen, and if anybody thinks that they're gonna disrespect me, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves and remind them, excuse me, but I live on this block, and you're not gonna disrespect me. And that's, being a Ganza, that was another thing, that we will always be together, and hanging out in groups and in cliques, because in the 80s, that was a time there was a lot of gay bashings in New York City. There was a lot of hatred towards our community. And fortunately for me, I never really had any horrible experiences. I got robbed and gay bashed in Philadelphia. In the hood, because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, hanging out with some scandalous boys, and me and a really good friend of mine, Miss Junior, we got robbed. We got held up at gunpoint, and they took a little bit of change, girl. And where were we going? We were on our way to the bar to go carry on and be amongst our sisters. And we gagged, but it was a lesson learned. It was a lesson learned. Don't wear Daisy Dukes in the middle of the hood on a Thursday night. Don't wear your booty shorts in the hood on a Thursday night. It was not cute for me, but I felt my moment, honey. I could not be told, but I learned the lesson. After that, I was a little more bangy with my look.
Okay.
I was a little more bangy with my look. Yes. I was like, okay, I'm going to wear my hat and my bag tonight.
Let's talk a little bit about the shade, especially the shade over the legendary status in the ballroom scene. How do you feel about all this?
Oh, my God, the status.
Yeah, all the status
right?
that's going on in the IM ballroom.
Oh, my God, in New York, there's posters all over the city that say, know your status. I gagged. I was like, really? What's this? What's with the status? Know your status. And New York City is about the HIV status. And the ballroom is about what? Know your status of what? Of who you are, of how many trophies you have. Or to me, it's kind of irrelevant. I don't really get caught up in that because I'm not so deeply involved in a lot of the politics of the ballroom world. But I do feel that, like music, that there needs to be acknowledgement and there needs to be reverence to like the music world has like James Brown, and has like Michael Jackson and Madonna. Like that exists in the ballroom world, and it should be acknowledged. It should be respected. Wow. And from what I observe from the outside looking in, and being able to come to a ball and be called out and walk and snatch a trophy, is that I think that people do know when somebody can bring it. And I don't know why there's like so much emphasis on like all this other kind of, I would have to say that it's like entitlement or titles. I think that there should be more forums or more opportunities to kind of make a little bit of a division based on like the eras, like the way they have the era colors, right? Like the red era and stuff like that. Like I thought that was really interesting, and I thought that it was pretty functional. Like it put people in a mindset of being able to differentiate,
identify the different eras and the different years.
Yeah, I thought that was like super positive. That's just my point of view. Like I was like, oh wow, like you could really differentiate, and so it creates like a timeline, that people can actually study. Because I think that there's like universities that offer like a degree, or there's like courses in the ballroom. Did you know that?
There's what?
There's like courses. Like I think that there's universities that do studies. They like do studies in like our community.
Really?
Yeah. Like if you talk to Luna Lewis, he'll tell you all about it. Because he's been on panels that have been like doing research within our community. Amazing. And I think that there's a strong influence of like so much within, like, I come from an era of where we were losing a lot of our community members, you know what I mean? So I feel that there was like a shift in placements of like people being in certain positions.
Almost like people warped and got one-ups and freebies, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because the other people weren't around. Yeah, other people weren't around. Other people died, or other people, fell out of the ballroom scene because they were taking care of their sick mother, and they had to live their life. Like all kinds of things happen while people, I haven't been deeply involved because I happen to have been, having a professional career in dance and opening my own dance center in Florida. Like I've been a little busy, but I think I've still maintained my connection by staying somewhat educated and supportive of my my close associates and my friends, like Angel Camacho, whom is a brother forever, and my sister Jada Icon, Infinity and Power Infinity, and my father Hector Xtravaganza, and a lot of my siblings in New York who throw really great parties, like Yusef and Yamil, and some of the Ganzas that I just know and love because I grew up around these people. They're a part of my era. My Fredi Xtravaganza era has its own group, and I honor and I support and I love those people, and I love other people within the ballroom community. Don't get me wrong.
Don't forget.
However,
I want to give a shout out real quick to Tiberius Stretch Ninja, aka Chastity.
Oh yes.
He also was, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A big part of a generation of, people who have been working really, really hard within the community. And I don't think that it costs too much to acknowledge, the contribution that people have made, and that, the things that people have done to contribute, like an Andre Revlon, who I knew as an Andre Revlon, who is now the legendary Andre Mizrahi. And, I knew Andre back in the day, when he was doing all kinds of fabulous Vogue tricks and carrying on in the Village and in New York City, and Letitia Revlon, who, was a sickening queen in New York City, bringing it to so many children. The likes of icons that, are not even with us anymore, like Willie Ninja. Like, really? Like, come on. Like, there's not many people who can say they sat in the room with people like that. And I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed to have sat across from Madonna at her cocktail party in New York City in the Time Warner building. Like, I think that that's pretty outstanding that I had that experience. That experience, I think, came to me because of the fact that as a dancer, I was also involved in this underground ballroom community. And I take tremendous pride in that. So when I see, people like Danielle Palenko, Javier Ninja, Daquan, Pony Zion, like amazing dancers who also know about our community, it only complements everything that I've ever done. I always feel like, oh my God, this is so over that, they look at what they're doing. This is incredible. Like, I'm so honored for them to even, holler at me when I'm in New York and be like, oh my God, like, are you going to go out tonight? And I'm like, wow, I'm gagging that I'm here in New York City. And I get to, maybe go to a club where these queens are going to be getting a kiki. Like, so many people came to many clubs that I was at in New York City getting a kiki, because it was such a part of nightlife. Like, that's one of the things about the ballroom world that I think to myself, God, I really miss that element, because the nightlife was a huge part of a ballroom culture for me. Being New York, the New York Miami connection. Someone like T.P. Lords. I was able to watch the birth and the growth of T.P. Lords in Miami, where, he was just talking about some of the amazing things that he does now that I'm like, oh my God, I remember when Miss Thing used to just like be so creative in her apartment. And then now look at her. She's like fantastic. The same thing with somebody like Kevin Avion's darling. Yes. Miss Kevin Avion's darling. That was my girl. Like, we hung out practically every night when I lived in DC. Those were some times, honey. I even back in the day made my singles and my little releases of my work, darling, and working with DJs and, having an opportunity to express a part of a culture. I mean, we have our own music, we have our own dances, we have our own our own lingo. Like, we are a culture. And when you have a culture, you know, it is a part of history. It is a part of world history. And I think that our community could afford to take that more seriously.
Right. Wow.
I just think that, you know, there's a lot to be said. There are lots of books to be written, one of which I'm working on myself, my memoirs, you know, that will tell the stories, you know, that will tell the stories that I'm sure a lot of queens want to hear, and that they'll also be able to relate to and be like, oh my God, that it happened to me, or I know somebody that happened to, because it is a part of our history. And yes, it is a part of a Black and Latino history. It definitely is. It really, really is. And yeah, there is a strong Latino influence to the ballroom community. And maybe it's more prominent in some places than it is in others, but to deny that would be silly. It would just be outright silly to deny it.
Amazing.
It cannot be denied. I mean, in the same way that you can't deny that there is an African-American influence. Yes, there is one. It's very prominent. It's quite obvious. But we cannot deny that there is a strong level of Latino influence. And when we talk about that Latino influence, it would be silly of me to say that I'm sure that the first words come to mind is extravaganza, because that's what people would say. They'd be like, oh, it's extravaganza. And you're like, oh, do you even know? But to them, it's an affiliation by word. And I think it's automatically one that is in reference to something that is Latino influenced. Right. Eleganza, extravaganza, the whole idea of that. And, you know, the House of Extravaganza.
Yeah. You there? Oh, we'll be right back right after these messages. All right, we are back. You there, Fredi?
Yes.
All right, cool. We were talking about the Latino influence.
The Latino influence. Yes. And how, you know, I feel that, you know, the Latino influence is one that cannot be denied. And the beauty of the diversity and the multiculturalism within that Latino influence. Because, you know, when you're in New York, it's a very mixed city. Yes, it's a very mixed.
I am Latino, by the way.
Yeah, and I think that's, you know, a very good word of reference, because, you know, within our community, it's just such a rainbow. Like I was saying that I remember being at a ball. I think it was one of the Shade Fest balls, and those were thrown by my father. Hector Xtravaganza and R.R. Chanel. And I just remember looking at my house and in the moment thinking to myself, what a diverse group of people, because there were like Asians and whites and blacks and Latinos, and I just really liked it. I really appreciated it. I thought it was beautiful. It kind of represented a mindset that I had, which was, you know, super glamour and very chic. And not to say that there wasn't an urban influence or what somebody might consider to be hood. Right. You know, there definitely is a hood swag in all of the houses, but there also is an element of glamour in all of the houses. That's a huge part of our community, is the glamour. And as, you know, Dorian Corey would say, beads and feathers, and the fabulousness of that, of what that is. You know, I felt that the Latino influence was one that was very prominent, because, you know, when it comes to Latinos, we are very pageantry oriented, and a part of the ballroom is pageantry. Let's admit to that, you know, because it comes from a pageant format.
Right.
That's why there has to be a winner.
Exactly.
That's competition. That's a pageant. Wow. It's a healthy competition. And if you bring it and you get your 10s, then at least it proves to you that you're on the right track. You may not snatch, but you got your 10s.
Right.
And, you know, I would have to say that 9 times out of 10, I got my 10s. I may not have snatched every time, but I got my 10s. And I know that to a lot of us that do walk and compete, that's good. You know, you at least walk away feeling like, hey, I made it up in there. I was in the running at least. And as a Latin, as I don't want to say Latin houses, but I want to call myself a Latin butch queen, because that's what I am. You know, I've known what it is to walk into a ballroom and be like, oh, wow, there's no Latinos here. And, you know, maybe that night you're not going to walk, or maybe you might walk. It doesn't matter. You know, it depends on who you are and where you stand as somebody that's competing in the ballroom. Because
Go ahead.
Because I've known many queens like myself who it really didn't matter. It was never an issue.
Right. Do you feel?
But I could see how some people would feel differently. I think that it has to.
Do you feel that that's the same today, or do you feel that?
Well, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to many balls. The Unity Ball that was thrown here, that I was supportive of, Power and Pink Lady, Johnny Pink Lady Infinity came up, and I felt that the ballroom was pretty mixed up. You know, I thought that for Florida, I was like, wow, I like this. You know, and I've visited a couple in the Orlando scene that have happened, and I thought, okay, this is kind of mixed up. You know, I did see some Latin faces in the 007 area, and I felt that there was a couple of Latin kids that were ebonies and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe in some areas somebody might feel like, oh, it could, you know, would it be okay if I threw a ball and, you know, it have a Latin twist? Like, there's a lot of balls that have twists that have to do with like comic books,
right.
or have some kind of theme to them.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, you know, if you want to bring it, then throw you a cha-cha ball, or, you know, whatever, the fiesta ball or whatever. Like, I just think that it's an open territory, because, you know, watch out, because some Latin kid might come and throw the Latin ball in Brazil, or throw it in, you know, Colombia, and then what?
I know. It's gonna
you know, because I mean, yeah, I lived in Texas. You know, I met my husband in Texas. I lived in Texas in 2001 until 2003. I was there for almost 3 years. I think I got there like towards the tail end of 2000. And when I lived in Texas, there were hardly any voguing queens, even in that environment in those days. But I did meet Mexican queens that were like getting their life, like learning how to vogue, and were carrying on.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. And I would go to like these Latino bars, and these kids would be like trying to bring runway, and were like carrying on, and I was like, oh, this is already in the Mexican Latin community here in Texas. And when I would go to like the gay hip hop bars, because there were some of those over there, I would see kids like, you know, feeling themselves or whatever, and every now and then they would throw on some Vogue beats and kids would carry on. Even in an era in the 90s, I lived in Ohio, dancing with the Dayton Contemporary Dance Company, and there were kids voguing out there. You know, there were kids that were trying to come forward in Columbus and Cincinnati, and, you know, I was like, oh, okay, wow, this scene is really taking a very strong influence internationally and nationally. And I say that, you know, our community, if you approach it like a business and you start thinking about it as a way of like really making an investment in the community, I think that we could continue to grow and prosper, and there's a lot of possibilities. And I don't think that anybody really needs to be getting too caught up in a conversation about race or whatever, because we're having those conversations as a nation already. And I think that if our community just continues to demonstrate diversity and us supporting one another, whether it's, you know, a ball that's about comic books or piñatas, does it really matter? Like, everybody's gonna go walk anyways.
Right.
You know, they're gonna walk. They want to be involved. It definitely to me comes across as a community that is engaged in knowing more about where is the next function, what are the categories, and you know, I think that if we really got into, you know, defining what the cause is behind the balls, then you know we could really make an impact. And I say that because, you know, hello,
right? I'm here.
I say that because I really believe in charitable work, and I really believe in doing things with a purpose behind them and for a cause. You know, like I've been doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show here in Lakeland, Florida for the past 13 years, right? And I've been doing that here because I love to raise money for the arts. Amazing. So that's what that event does. It raises money for the arts. And why did I decide to do that? Because I was inspired by the latex ball. And, you know, people want to read and they want to be like, oh, well, that money doesn't go. I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that I was inspired to watch my community doing something so wonderful and so for such a wonderful, important cause. Yeah. And I think that, you know, within the ballroom community, we throw your ball, and then why don't you throw some of the coins from your ball to help bully gay kids or to help the trans community or to, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's make it about other things too, not just about, you know, somebody going to the bank off of whatever they made off the cover. And, you know, so even though some people might do that and I'm not reading them, but however, I would be much more quick to purchase my ticket through my PayPal if I knew that the coins were going to go towards a very reputable charitable cause.
I know that's right.
Yeah. I would definitely, I would get people to come with me and buy tickets and be like, oh no, this is going towards this, you know, youth organization. And that I would like to know. And I would like anybody that's already doing that to be louder about it. And so please put it, send it to me on social media because I want to know. Because I'm very interested. I'm very interested in knowing more about that forum just because that's where I am as a human being at this stage in my life. Maybe when I was 20 and I was falling into box dips and I was, you know, twisting my arms out of socket, I was unbothered. Right. But today, at where I am in my life, I think that is beautiful and it's important. Word. And I don't expect, you know, a lot of the young queens to really feel it either, because like I said, back in my day, I could be unbothered and be like, "Hi, girl, I just want to go to the next function and carry." Like I could care less. But now I think that, you know, as we get older, what becomes more important is the impact that it's having and what is the value of that. You know, I mean, even now with this new movie, Strike a Pose, coming out that is being done, I'm sure you've heard about it. I think that it's, you know, it's definitely going to feature my brothers, Jose and Luis Xtravaganza, and it's going to put them on a platform where they're going to be able to talk about the experience that they had. I can't wait to see it because I know that it's going to have a little bit of truth or dare in it.
Yeah, shout out.
And I want to see, you know, where it goes, but I feel that it's important that it be made and that they do tell the story, because there are a lot of us that come from that generation. We come from that era, and we were a part of it. We saw them rise to fame. We watched it. Saw them on MTV. Like that for me was like, oh my God, that was like, you know, nowadays people seeing Modern Family on TV and seeing, you know, Miss Bruce Jenner change, you know, in front of the whole world, and all of these things that we've been watching. Gay marriage, like, hello, Madonna wrapped in the American flag with Jose and Luis on MTV. Like, hello, like Madonna and the clearly gay boys that were her backup dancers, and then she made Truth or Dare, and we all watched that, and we were like, oh my God, like this is really happening. You know, it's definitely an era and a time of awareness. And I think that if we all, as a community, approach it from a sensitive and an intelligent place, there's so much that we can do. There's so much that we can gain. You know, what I've done, and this might sound crazy, but in the time that I was coming out in New York City, there was a lot of artistic expression. It was a time of like Keith Haring, Andy Warhol, you know, like all of those bars and those clubs, and such a great time. I feel personally that it has inspired in me a sense of like that I dare, that I don't care what people think or what they're going to say. And I think that this generation has that. they have a little bit of that edge of like, you know, I don't care what people think of me or what they're gonna say about me. I can stand up for myself, and I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's filled with passion, and it inspires me.
I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It is because you know, as right.
Yeah, I can relate.
I'm sure, and I think that that's what inspires you to be able to do this, to have this radio show, and to be someone that just wants to give people an opportunity to talk and to have a platform. And you know, a platform is not just, you know, where you get up and carry on. A platform is also who you are and what you do.
Right.
And
I think it's also a great, you know, educational system for the community right now, where
yes,
people really learn the real history.
Work.
You know what I mean? Instead of having somebody dictate your history or your legendary status or what you've accomplished.
Oh, absolutely. But you don't need them to.
Right.
You don't need them to.
Yeah,
hello. When you look at somebody like RuPaul, look at RuPaul. I mean, she's unbothered. Hello. I've been around RuPaul since the day that, you know, I ran into her in New York City. And even here in Florida, she comes here all the time. I'll be like, girl, I'm gagging that we're running into each other again. Yes. And she never even knows how old I am. She'll be like, bitch, how old are you? I'll be like, girl, I'm never going to tell you my age. Yeah. I may someday audition to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm going to have to lie. And so I'm never going to tell you. God. She kikis. She kikis at that. Hello, I just got hired by Alexis Mateo. Actually, I'm going to be performing on March 29th in Tampa Gay Pride.
Yes, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Fredi Xtravaganza.
I hope you're going to come down to, you know, Ball TV studios. And,
oh yes, that's that's definitely on the plan. Because you know, Butch Queen and the Bitch Fits, and now we changed our names. We're Butch Queen and the Bad Habits.
Word.
Okay.
Wow.
We're Butch Queen and the Bad Habits.
I you know what? I wanted to thank you too, by the way, for, you know, inviting, you know, the stars out, you know, to your event. I absolutely love what you're doing. You know what I mean? Every single event that you put out, I truly think it's amazing, you know, and I'm so appreciative that we have you here in the community. It's amazing, you know. I come to, you know, whenever you have an event, you know.
You are so supportive.
I'm always going to be there to support, you know me.
That is so important.
I can't wait till you do your next opera, by the way.
Oh my God, the Division Opera.
I love the opera.
The opera was the key. We're definitely doing it again this year, so get ready. You're definitely going to be included in our lineup of Division Opera, which last year was our first year.
Wow.
And we got so much positive feedback.
Perfect. So I was part of the original first. All right.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. You were part of the original first cast of Division Opera. Yes. And we have a lot of support this year. We have a lot of people interested in knowing what we're going to do. This year we're going to explore Illuminati and like like some really dark and interesting twists. And we have a very wealthy realtor who's going to get us like these houses. And we're going to do it in these houses. It's going to be very interesting.
Wow.
And of course, we're going to have voguing this year too. More voguing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, we're going to have some really interesting stuff. And that's on Mother's Day weekend. And of course, if anybody wants to find out anything about my events, they can find me on Facebook. They can check out Fredi Xtravaganza's Facebook page, or Just Fierce Productions, which is my charitable production company that does all of these amazing events for the cause of charity. And so what we're going to be supporting a LGBT group here in Lakeland when we perform on the 26th of March for Tampa Gay Pride, and we'll be making announcements on the microphone about some of the upcoming things that we're going to be doing. But yeah, it's my little punk band with my boys and my drag attack. Because, you know, I can do it all. I can do drag. I could be a butch queen. I can be whatever I want to be.
Yes.
Wow. That's how we do it. We can't be caught up, you know. And I find that you know, a lot of people, they don't understand the value of having been in a community that is all about what? It's all about self-confidence. It's a community that celebrates self-confidence. And that, you know, is my life motto. I always tell people, if you're not bringing it, then get out the way.
I know that's right.
Because I've been bringing it for a long time, honey. I remember one time I was walking down the street And they were like, "You walk like you own this street." And I was like,
yes.
I was like, hello.
And
And you know what? You learned that in the ballroom, honey. I was like, I'm not gonna be bothered walking down this block with all these people here in New York City. And what? And then, the saying is true. You can make it there. You can make it anywhere. And anywhere that I've ever put my foot down, I put it down with my chin up, which I learned that from my mother, Tilly Melinda, who lives in Broward County, Florida, with my beautiful sister Jada, Icon Infinity. Yes. And, as a family, that is something that was instilled in us, was to always keep our heads up and to always be proud of who we are and to stand up for ourselves and for what we believe in. And, I believe that the ballroom community is a very, very influential community, and it is very valid. And I think that the more that we grow and the more that we educate ourselves and we educate the ones that are coming up properly,
right.
and not use something like, notoriety or a label to make them feel validated or important. I think that what's really important is that, at the end of the day, are you bringing it? Did you get your 10s? And did you walk away with the trophy? Because that's really all anybody ever cared about when I was in the ballroom. And if you came out of nowhere and you snatched, it was all the more legendary. Nobody was going to be asking who you are and where you're from and how many balls have you walked. It was the fact that you were there, you came, and you served.
Yes. Wow. Let's go to, our Q's and A's in chat room real quick.
Work.
I have a couple questions that the listeners out there wanted to know. One question was, I don't say the names, by the way. I just read the questions.
Say it.
Were you in Paris is Burning or around for that documentary?
I was not in Paris is Burning, nor was I around for that documentary. Right. I came onto the scene after that film had already hit the theaters.
Okay, cool. Next question is, what about the lack of Latinos on the Legends panel or International Deeming Board? How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about there being so what you're saying is that there is a lack of Latinos on the board?
Yeah.
Well, I would feel the same way if there was a lack of, I feel that it's horrible that there's a lack of Latinos in Congress. And that there's, there's any kind of misrepresentation is not positive. There needs to be more. There needs to be equal representation.
Wow, work. Beautiful answer, by the way. Next question. How can I get some more information on your dance school?
Oh my God, you can log on to www.udclakeland.com, or you can find us on Facebook through the Ultimate Dance Center, and you can also find us on Instagram as the Ultimate Dance Center. And I think that we're UDC Lakeland on Instagram. And of course, you can always reach out to me on Facebook, Ferdinand de Jesus Xtravaganza in parentheses. Or you can hit up my drag persona, Fredi Xtravaganza, Fredi, X with no E, it's with an X, Xtravaganza, and I will be able to communicate with you there, or you can just holler at me at the studio. The phone number is 644-5705. Don't quote me because I get it wrong all the time. We've only been open since January 11th, and we already have almost 100 students. Thank God that I've been blessed with having so many wonderful, interested people in the Ultimate Dance Center.
Work.
Yeah.
Last question. How can I be a part of your events?
Yay. You can be a part of my events by sending an email with your phone number, and then I can access you if you're interested. You can opt in for texting. But my events, you can reach out to me in two different places. I have a small production company club called Just Fierce Productions. Just like they say in Paris is Burning, we're not going to be shady, just fierce. And so it's JUSTFIERCE productions@gmail.com. And then I also have a contemporary dance company, a professional contemporary modern and ballet dance company here in Lakeland, Florida and New York. It is called the Fredi Dance Project, and you can find us on via Facebook at the Fredi Dance Project, and that's FREDIDANCE Project. And then you would type that in as well at gmail.com if you wanted to email us anything about our upcoming dance concerts and performances. And Just Fierce Productions would be any type of nightlife events or any kind of like division opera or, you know, Butch Queen and the Bad Habits, or any of my pageants like Miss Polk County Gay Pride. I'm the producer of that pageant. Who my queen is Miss Dolores T. Van Cartier is my queen. Last year we had the beautiful Amanda Dorad was our queen. And, you know, I've been organizing events here for Polk County Gay Pride since 2011, to the extent of now they have Polk Pride Florida, which is an organization that also does Pride events here in Lakeland, Florida. So I've been a part of that inspiration, and have had a wonderful affiliation with the Polk Theater, which is here in Lakeland, Florida. And that's where I put on the Rocky Horror Picture Show every Halloween. And if you want to know more about that, you can also contact the Polk Theater, or you can just reach out to me via Just Fierce Productions, and I'll be sure to make sure that, you know, people get added to my mailing list, to my text lists, and stay affiliated and connected to anybody who's interested in supporting the madness that I create.
I know that's right. Yes.
You know it's madness, girl. You was in Division Opera, honey. You saw the.
It is amazing madness. It's beautiful madness.
It was so great to have you there. I can't wait until this year again. Remember, it's Mother's Day weekend. You got to save the date.
Yes, that's right. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to go down Mother's Day weekend. And we're going to have lots of fun with Fredi Xtravaganza.
Yes, and hopefully people will also stay posted to some of the beautiful projects that you and I are going to do together, because I'm really looking forward to us continuing to work together on some of the secrets that we've been cooking up.
It's top secret.
I can't wait. It's going to be over.
Yes, I can't wait. Oh, God.
It's going to be over. Trust me when I tell you. I've already gotten some people interested in knowing more about it, and I'm really excited. And you and I are going to have to get together for Kiki real soon.
Definitely. Oh, my God. I love you so much.
I love you.
You are on the show. Thank you so much for coming on tonight and supporting. You know,
I am so happy
me
to give you a taste of the Xtravaganza power.
And thank you for believing in me and supporting me. You know what I mean? It's very hard, you know, nowadays to get your community to support you. You have to really prove, you know, that you're worthy to really get into the loop. You know what I mean? But once you get past that, you know, and you keep it legit and you keep it cute, keep it trancy,
right?
You know, you're good. Right. Especially when you have a grandfather like Hector Xtravaganza keeps me in check.
Hello, right? Because you gotta walk every time. They're not just gonna give you your tens. You gotta walk every time.
Yes.
Nobody just stands at the end of the panel and gets tens across the board. I mean, some people do, but they don't always walk home with a trophy. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Everybody can't be a winner. Like, that's just the way it works.
Right. I also want to give a big shout out to my gay father, Angel Camacho Infinity, and my gay mother, Chastity, a.k.a. Danny Tiberius Ninja.
Yeah.
I love them both.
Mm-hmm. And again, what wonderful support system.
Huh?
That's such a wonderful support system.
Oh, it's for me, it's like a perfect combination, almost like, because I'm getting like the best of both sides. You know what I mean? Best of both worlds.
Yes.
You know, I'm getting
very
history. I'm learning. You know, I'm helping everybody in the community learn. You know, and I'm experiencing some wonderful things that I never thought I would amount to. So I'm having an amazing time. It's just a blessing.
Oh, well, I'm so happy to be included in the guest list, darling.
Thank you so
because,
much.
You know, you might have to start letting kids know that, Miss Thing, there is no guest list tonight. You know, you got to keep it exclusive sometimes. And I think that's right. a great part of what you do is that you know where to go for the right kind of energy and information that's really going to help to continue to platform, you know, what it is that you're trying to do, which is to really bring more knowledge and shed some light on some real issues.
Right. I felt like this, if it's a lot of people, it's easier for people. A lot of people listen to the radio and listen to music. Another thing is, the house music attracts everybody, who are just music heads, old classic house heads, that's straight, gay, bisexual, transgenders, everybody who listens to house music. Classic music is classic music. You know what I mean? 70s disco, classic music. We're educating on music, first of all. Then we're educating on top of it on the community, not only the ball community, but the LGBT community. We're giving HIV awareness on the show. We're bridging, continents, countries, states, and different, parts of the world. Even parts of the world that doesn't even have a ballroom community are turning it out and listening and, finding their way to the core of the ballroom community to help, unite this.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And the fact that you bring people on like Caesar Valentine and Archie Burnett, and you're bringing on people who are really going above and beyond, and taking themselves into uncharted territory to bring a ballroom experience, because even in the dance world and what is now a street style experience, and we have street styles at Ultimate Dance Center for that reason, because it is a battle lifestyle. Okay, it is the same as the old school b-boys battling. It's the same as the Vogue queens battling. It's like it's beautiful. It's a part of a urban culture.
Ooh,
and
that little ding right there, that was Jada Icon Infinity just sent in a private ballroom message stating, I want to give a great big shout out to my brother. We love you, darling. Shout out to Jada Icon Infinity, by the way.
Yes, Jada.
And thanks for bringing orderness to the house. We love you, darling. Also, are you there, Fredi?
Yes, baby.
Yes, I also, want to thank you too as well, for, like I said, showing me around and taking me in and, giving me the chance and the opportunity.
Yes, well, anytime. It is an honor and a privilege to be included in a conversation that is really about.
By the way, you guys got to utilize the network. There is a ballroomsceneradio.com social network,
Right.
You can post your events on there and, make groups, chat. And it's just on Facebook, but it's our own personal ballroom community. And it's people from Finland, Japan, Russia, United States. It's all over the world. You're going to meet people there. So if you're really into promoting into the ballroom community, or you're a heavy ballroom communist, come on down, log in free. It's your Facebook, and get yourself some.
Oh, wow. I would definitely be taking advantage of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Get your promo on.
I will definitely be taking advantage of that for sure. That's fantastic.
Yes.
And is that something that this is all a part of your development and what you're doing?
Yes, it's part of
that's
in conjunction
amazing work.
With Ballroom Scene Radio and Ballroom Television, which is coming soon, by the way. And I also have a Ballroom online archive, so those who are interested in learning more about the ballroom community, I have pics, videos, and blogs on everything that we have done on the show. You're more than welcome to, use it to your best of your abilities.
Nice. Well, that's really wonderful. I'm glad to be included in the conversation.
And meet some new ballroom friends, because not everyone's on Facebook, by the way.
Hello, that's the team. That makes it, again, like I said, a little more exclusive.
Also, did you get to attend or tune into our Ballroom Scene Radio Award show?
Yes, I did listen on the Ballroom Award show. I loved it.
Yes. We're planning next year to actually, celebrate, some of these recording artists, like you said, in the ballroom community, and throw maybe a little function, but I'll give more details when it gets closer to that time as well.
Yes, that's fantastic. I would love to be involved in any committees or any planning. So please add me to that list.
Yes, and I am going to take your advice, and I might donate some of that money.
Yeah, hello, why not?
Yes.
Our community needs it. Just think about, how many young people there are out there nowadays, and with the age of social media, there's a much needed presence in positive forums for people to meet and to socialize. And I will say that with all of the young LGBT people that I work with, a lot of times they don't really have access to dating opportunities or anything like that. So I say that the more opportunities that there are for young people to meet each other and to socialize and to have healthy environments where they can go out on a date with their significant other and within their community. You know, you got to remember, a ballroom is a place that normally was not held in a bar. It was held in a ballroom. So even though there may have been alcohol served, it was not an environment where somebody who was 15 or 16 could not go. You could go.
Right.
And that was very liberating to me as a young person, for me to be able to be in an environment where I could be around somebody that was gay and like me and was passionate about walking a ball, but also was in college or, you know, had a really good job. And that kept me inspired and made me aspire to continue to be more. And if we don't have environments like that, and it's always about a bar, then, you know, sometimes, oh, you got a young queen, kid, gay boy, whatever, just all they're waiting for is to be old enough to go to a bar. And nowadays it's different, and we should continue to celebrate that difference and create more forums and more places for LGBT youth to go and to be able to socialize and identify with each other.
Definitely.
Right? And Ballroom Radio is a great place for that.
Perfect. Also, I wanted to add too, there is a free AdSense on the site. So those who, you know, are planning on having merchandise to market to the ballroom community, we offer a free AdSense space where you can make your own banner, you know, with your own product and stuff, and it'll pop up on different pages throughout the website, and it'll be viewed to all the users on the site as well. So that's also a plus that you guys can use, you know, to utilize.
I live for all the accessibility. I'm going to take advantage.
Yes, it is a network. Definitely.
All right.
So, oh my God, I love you so much. It's been so
I love
real
you
quick. But
and I live for the ballroom community, for everybody that tuned in and is out there listening and showing their love and support. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I want to show love to all of the fellow houses that I may have happened to mention, and many of my sisters out there. You know, mainly Xtravaganza, but of course some of the other Mizrahi and Aviance family out there that I've been very close to for many years. And, you know, I'm really not interested in name dropping because that's really not important to me. But, you know, the acknowledgement of my sister houses that have always been people that I knew that when I'm in the city that I can go see my Ebony sisters, and when they come up here to Florida, they give me a call. And my sisters, you know, Mink, Philip, and Carmen Xtrava, who are here in Florida, and, you know, it's great that we can spend time and I can at least see them on occasion, because, you know, Florida life is a beautiful life for somebody from New York. They come up here and they go on retreat, honey. You'd be like, girl, I haven't seen you, and they live in the life. And, you know, you can go outside in a tank top in February.
Yes, it is beautiful. Paradise.
And that is shade on the shady winters of New York City. Ooh. That is direct shade.
That was a shady storm
on the winters of New York from Florida.
Yes.
Because that is one thing that they know that they cannot take, is that it's all about here, and the weather is sickening.
Wow.
Because it is.
Okay.
And I tell them all the time, I'll be like, girl, this is your time. Now you can come and kiki with me and visit. To get out of the severe cold and the snow. So I don't miss it at all. I visit New York in the summertime. I go in the summer when it's cute. Yeah. I don't be dealing with her in the winter time. And I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to be on the show, because this was an amazing weekend. This was my anniversary, as I said, my 13 years with my beautiful, happy anniversary to me. On Valentine's Day was when I met him in Dallas, Texas, as I was carrying on in the Cedar Springs community of the Gayborhood in downtown Dallas.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, and here we are in Central Florida, and here you are in Central Florida, and I'm so glad we made this connection.
I know.
This is wonderful.
Yes. But you know, it's getting close to that time.
It's getting close to that time. Bring it on down, bitch.
So
Bring it on down, girl.
We're going to have to throw a little light like shade real quick before we go.
Okay.
It's time to say goodbye. Is there any shout-outs out there? Any, positive quotes that you want to give our listeners out there?
Oh, my God. Any positive quotes that I want to give to the listeners out there? No, the positive quote for me is what I named my business, my little production company after. And it was like, we're not going to be shady, just fierce. Because if you're fierce, you don't have to be shady, you know. And if I don't like you, I don't even have to look at you. I don't see you. That's where it comes from. I don't see you, and I don't pay attention to you, because there's no need for me to get caught up in any negativity. You just whatever. And, you know, and within this community, there is a lot of shade. This community is based on shade.
Yeah.
And you have to learn. You better figure it out, honey. Watch Paris is Burning. There's a whole section on shade. Get it together.
Get it.
Hello.
You can find it on Amazon.com, by the way.
You certainly can. You certainly can, honey. She's out there. And, you know, and for anybody that has a curiosity about the ballroom community, they should go. And anybody that knows anybody that has curiosity and you go, you need to take them and show them the culture, so that more people get exposed and more people can learn about it from its origin, from the place where it happens, which is within the community. That's the best way. Not for them to watch it on YouTube or to, no, it's best for them to go and be there, because you be gagging. You gag at the people that want to walk and fall up in.
And tune into BallroomRadio.com. Get your education on.
Hello.
That was a slick one.
Hello.
Snuck that in real quick.
Sneak it in there.
I tucked that in real quick.
That's right. And you come to Ballroom Radio and you're going to get the tea. They will spill the tea.
Wait, we're not that shit.
On tea.
We're just fierce. All right, let me let you go because I got to do the outro. I love you so much, and thank you once again for coming on the show and spending this wonderful time. It was a blast. Hearing your journey and your story, I'm definitely positively influenced, and we definitely gotta get together, doll. We definitely do.
Yes, we do.
Let me know.
Sooner than later.
Invite to your event, and I'm going to be sharing it on my Facebook for those who follow me on my true fans.
Please do.
Yes, and we're gonna make it happen. Okay?
Yes,
Lights,
we will
camera,
soon.
action.
I love you.
I know
okay,
that's
bye.
right. One. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the legendary Fredi Xtravaganza. Here on BallroomRadio.com, the hottest station on the Internet Nation. You are tuned in. I am your boy, Izzy Stars, and we're going to say goodnight like this. Once again, I want to give a great big shout-out to all the Florida ballroom legends and icons, Angel Icon Infinity, JoJo, Power Infinity, and all the rest. If I didn't mention your name, forgive me, please, because I'm coming short to an end. And also, I want to give a shout-out to all my peers and my mentors in New York City as well. And we're going to get it cracking. Don't forget to tune in every Monday at 9 o'clock p.m. to BallroomRadio.com, the hottest station on the Internet Nation. I am your boy, Izzy Stars.
Ballroom Radio is sponsored by the House of Ninja, House of Blonic, House of Ultra Omni, House of Xtravaganza, House of Infinity, House of Milan, House of Latex, and of course, the one and only, the legendary House of Stars. Special thanks to Danny Stretch Ninja, DJ Frankie Paradise, Steve Gonzalez, DJ Chip Chop Ninja, legendary Jade Blonic, Icon Heather Ultra Omni, Angel Infinity, Icon Darren Milan, legendary Mother Power Infinity, and of course, Icon Grandfather Hector Xtravaganza. Tune in every week at 9 p.m. to the hottest station on the Internet Nation, BallroomSceneRadio.com.